again, thank you very much for being with us. It's very important. And I would like to invite His Excellency, Mr. Yoram Elron, the Israeli ambassador in Bulgaria, to welcome us into this meeting.
Thank you so much. Good evening. First and foremost, at the outset, I would like to wish all of us good health and to make sure that we're all doing the right things in order to keep safe during these difficult, trying moments. Zikaron BaSalon memory in the living room this year is being done in a different way with this Zoom application that I'm not quite sure that I understand fully how it works. But there's no doubt that Zoom will become one of the heroes or one of the stars of this corona epidemic. Zikaron BaSalon started, like you mentioned, a few years ago, when it became apparent that the memory of the Holocaust was rapidly fading away. And there was a necessity to find new means, a new platform to commemorate the Holocaust. This is being done in small groups. Usually it's done by a group of family members, friends, and guests who listen to the testimony of a Holocaust survivor. They listen, they talk, they think, and they sing. And it's a wonderful event which has taken roots in Israel and elsewhere. Just last year, we had, if I'm not mistaken, 5,000 of these events in Israel and throughout the world. The circumstances have changed, but the messages remain the same, that we always remember and cherish the memory of the victims of the Holocaust, that we indeed are learning the lesson of the Holocaust to make sure that it doesn't happen again, and to fight phenomena which have become unfortunately prevalent in some quarters, in some countries, namely xenophobia, hate speech, and of course, anti-Semitism. So the messages are the same as they used to be, and they will continue to be. And hopefully next year we'll be able to do a real Zikaron BaSalon memorying the living hood. I would like to thank the organizers of this event, namely Mrs. Polly Zechavieva from the Shalom program team, who has done magnificent work with her colleagues. Of course, to the president of Shalom, our friend Alec Oscar, who will soon take the floor, and the embassy staff, namely Eva Mashiach, Ani Minkova, and Vered Elron, whom you know. And I'd like to acknowledge the participation of my fellow colleagues, the diplomats and ambassadors, namely the ambassador of Germany and the DCM of the US Embassy, who will soon take the floor, and also the Rabbi of Solomon of Chabad, who also will say a few words later on. I think I will stop here and continue maybe later after we've gone through some of the programs of the program of tonight, and just say that for us, I hope that will be a purposeful and meaningful event. Thank you very much.
Thank you for this welcome. And moving on, as you said, it's my pleasure to invite Dr. Alec Oscar, who is the president of the Organization of the Jews in Bulgaria, who would also give his warm welcome. Just a second to unmute you, Alec. Yes, now I think you're live.
Thank you, Polly. Your Excellencies, the ambassadors of Israel, Germany, the United States, dear friends, it is my privilege on this occasion to say a few words on one of the most important days of the Jewish calendar. Yom HaShoah is the moment when we not only remember the tragedy of those who perished in the concentration camps, in the Holocaust, but also we acknowledge our responsibility to do our best and never allow such atrocities to happen again. Unfortunately, every single day we are witnessing the increase of hatred, hate speech, anti-Semitism all over the world, in Europe, in Bulgaria. Even today, during the pandemic of the coronavirus, we see all over the world how the Jews again are blamed for the disease. So that is why we should, of course, remember the tragedy of those who suffered, the Holocaust survivors, remember those who were lost, but also we should always never forget that we are responsible for the world that we are living in, and that we should never allow this to happen again. Thank you, Mr. Ambassador Yoram, for hosting this, and thank you, Polly, for organizing it.
You're very welcome. I'm really glad that so many people decided to open their houses and their living rooms, and so that we spend some meaningful time together. How this evening is going to proceed from now on, we have prepared a special video testimony for you, and we were very much debating whether or not to share one story or more than one stories, because there's so many beautiful stories and memories and things that are important to be heard in this moment. That's why we decided to make a whole special editing. I'm gonna play you a video that has been recorded from teenagers. It was a project that was done already like 15 years ago, where some of us were still teenagers. And it's a beautiful project because it documented the story of the Bulgarian Jews who were saved, and they're speaking, and those are people who are from all over the country. So I'm going to share my screen now, and I wish you to enjoy the moment to spend time with their stories. Now, right, share, just a second. Second time is a charm, I've heard. And the movie is called To Know Is to Remember, and you can find the whole piece of it on YouTube. I'm gonna play it now.
Има хора, които не искат да говорят, защото им ставало тежко да си спомнят онези години. Тежко е. Ето и сега аз плача. Тежко е, ама трябва да го кажеш. Длъжен си да го кажеш.
Чакахме както агнетата на кладницата на заколата. Какво може да направим?
Нямахме детство фактически. Нямахме детство. Само беше тревогата, че дали има какво да ядем. Или за дрехи да не ви разправим.
Какво имаш? То нямаше нищо. Нито за ядене, нито за пиене. Сутрин ставам, питам майка ми: мамо, какво ще закусиме? Отговора беше: знаеш, там има олио и червен пипер, мажеш си на една филийка и това ти е закуската.
Трябваше да мине известно време, докато ни отделиха от децата от махалата. Техните батковци, сестри и родители, може вече надъхани от пропагандата, странеха от нас. Даже те станаха, научавахме от тях, че те ставаха членове на Браник, легионерите, звенари. Изобщо не беха тези приятели, които ги познавахме и с които израснахме.
До 1943 година нямахме абсолютно никакво чувство за различие. Нали ви казвам се? 1943 година започна да се проявява, то какво се прояви? Нас изгониха, 1943 година изгониха от училище.
Бях в седми клас, гимназиалния клас, когато беше забранено на евреите да продължат образованието си. И тук ни изключиха всички от гимназията. Престанахме да учим в училище. Може би се считаше, че не е необходимо да имаме образование.
Обиждаха нали? Чипочетано наричаха, опитваха се да набият, но ръководството на училищата и учителите нямаха никакво отношение към нас, еврейчета, отделно от другите.
1941 година, януари месец, започна да действа закона за защита на нацията. На нас ни сложиха жълти значки. Ние започнахме да спазваме строго всички ограничения на закона.
Колко погроми имало. Трошиха се стъклата, шареха се вратите. Забраняваше се да ходим на баня, освен на определен ден с циганите.
Нямахме право да посещаваме киносалони. Нямахме право да се движим по две главни улици в града. Нямахме право да ходим в парка.
Малката градинка, която е до старата пожарна, в нея имаше написано, че е забранено да преминават кучета и евреи.
На моята жена смениха името от Бела, стана Басия, тъй като Бела не било типично еврейско име.
Антисемитизма се появи след закона за защита на държавата и когато направиха бранническите групи и имаше такива елементи от... Те не бяха много, бяха малко на брой, надъхани от родителите им, правиха такива низоуми.
Решат тези хора, че днеска трябва да направят нещо, тръгнат една голяма банда и минават през еврейската махла и колкото видят, бият. И ние, като животните в прериите, като видят опасност, се крият. Нали? И ние се крием по къщите. Обезлюдяваше се тогава нашия квартал, докато бандата замини. Ако им дойде на ума нещо, щупят някой прозорец и се отидат. Нито полиция да ги гони, нито нищо. Интересното обаче е, че българчетата, които живееха в нашата махла, излизаха с опит да не защитават.
Баща ми имаше един приятел, фурунджия. Той всека седмица по един-два пъти вечер късно минаваше и ни донасяше хлеб. Що хлеба, който купувахме от специалната фурна, която ни даваха, едно, че не достигаше. Второ беше царевично брасно, което го отвориме, като муха.
Толкова се чувстваш угнетен и неравен с другите, че и това се отразява вече и на поведението ти. Аз бях ученик в 5-ти клас в гимназията. Минава разсилния, както беше възприето тогава, да чете съобщение на директора, че на другия ден в 9 часа трябва всички ученици да се съберат за манифестация по случай 3 март. И на другия ден сутринта аз в 9 часа, както всички други, отидох пред гимназията, където трябваше да се съберем с тази звезда. Идва един мой съученик. Ти защо си дошъл, бе? Ти човек ли си? Тя да се махаш от тука. Дошъл си тука на манифестация. И аз, знаете ли, нищо не можах да му отговоря. Само си помислих, наистина бе, аз защо съм дошъл тук и че с звездата на всичко. И тръгнах и се прибрах с наведена глава вкъщи.
И май месец вече намобилизираха всички евреи на възраст от 20 години нагоре до 40 в еврейски групи.
Ние може да се правим на усмихнати, за спомен после да има тук. Сега като показвам снимките, всички са усмихнати, но в лагера никак не беше за усмивки.
Бехме там 7 месеца. С неки машини бехме на палатки. И бехме в сали и излизахме да се перем.
Те искаха работа от нас. Определяха ни, да речем, 4 кубика на ден да изкопаем земна пръст и да я изхвърлим. Ние работехме в групички от 3-4-5 души различни. Се събирахме така приятели и роднини и на 5 души по 4 кубика, 20 кубика трябваше да изкопаем и да ги изнесем на известно разстояние с колички. Това изнасяне беше показно, ако искам да кажа, по една количка на всеки 2 минути, по 30 колички на час.
1943 година минаха през нашия град от Македония евреи, които ги караха за лагерите на смъртта. Гладни това, когато минаха през Македония тук, Сандански, Джумея, и имаше еврейски групи в трудовите групи. Разбраха, че са евреи от това и гледаха да им фърлят хлеб, да им дадат нещо.
Най-страшният момент, когато около март разбрахме какво ще стане с нас, като разбрахме, че е станало с другите евреи в европейските държави. Иначе другото всичко, отиване на еврейските групи да работим, всичко го взимахме като нещо, което е преходно и в очакване на някаква лоша вест за нас.
На 10 март стана вдигането на една голяма част от пловдивското еврейство.
Една българка идва от нас към 12 часа вечерта, звъни и аз като по-малка, най-малката, ставам, отварям, викам, какво има? Веднага вика бащата, веднага го извика и аз го събудих. Към татко дошла еди коя села, да видиш кой иска. Имате ли злато? Баща ми вика, нямаме злато. Пари, злато, ако имате, дайте ми ги на съхранение, защото ще вдигнат. Баща ми вика, тая откачила. И отиди си, не дадохме нищо и си легнахме. Так му се лягаме, пак се звъни и вече полицай идва с един цивилен, с заповед. То беше 2 часа и половина. Всичко спи, тихо, нямаше абсолютно никаква сигнал, че нещо ще стане. И в това време събуди баща си и аз го събуждам към татко, дойдоха полицаи, един цивилен. И вика на баща ми, веднага, до 20 минути, имате право да си вземете един багаж 20 килограма, че трябва да ви заведеме до еврейското училище.
Моята баба, която беше неграмотна жена, на испански, непрекъснато обикаляйки стаите, е повтаряла на моите вуйчовци, на леля ми и на вуйна ми, която беше бременна в 7-я месец. И им е казвала така: правете, струвайте. Трябва да излеземе от къщи на светло. Трябва българското общество да види къде ни карат и какво ни правят.
И баща ми събуди майка ми, тя на бърза ръка, помня, че половин хляб имахме в къщи, малко сирене, сложи в торбата, взема един половер за мен и за брат ми, защото беше студено. 10 март беше много студен ден. Като зимата, така студено беше. И даваха ни 15-20 минути да се обличаме. Облякохме се и тръгнахме, без да знаем какво е. Тъкмо отиваме до училището, насреща клисаря на владиката. Той се почуди и закачи баща ми и вика: къде е, вика, си взимал цялото семейство, къде водиш? Тогава баща ми каза: иди, моля ти си, кажи на Кирил, че са ме арестували и сега наводят еврейското училище.
Моите вуйчовци, братята на майка ми, бяха известни адвокати в Пловдив. Към тях се сприпваха адвокати, които отиваха на работа, искайки да ги попитат и да ги пригърнат къде отивате, обаче полицаите с приклади ги отстраняваха. Куфърчето на леля ми с консерви от високата улица се отвори и се търколи надолу, всичко се разсипа. Хората се сприпнаха, за да й помогнат да ги съберат нещата, обаче те не разрешиха на никого да се допре до тях, докато те не слезат и тя да се наведе да си ги прибере нещата.
А тези, които ни изпращаха, знаеха, че няма да се върнем. Не, на тяхната обич беше искрена. Аз това го казах, искрена. Особено на тези, с които дружихме. Имаше един сенкаджия. Това винаги с голяма трогателност си го спомням. Цялото му богатство беше едно чувалче семки и едни кисийки. Той ги разделяше за по едно левче. Почна да ги раздава богатството. Евреите ги гонят. Евреите, заповядайте, като напълнен раздаваш.
И в това време клисара идва и казва на баща ми, че Кирил действа чрез София. И вече научаваме всички, че Кирил почна да не защитава. И до 8 часа сутринта вече той се е свързал с царя. И там почнаха да казват, че тук еврейството в Пловдив се надига, не искат да ни арестуват, не искат да ни депортират и т.н. И царя е отговорил, ще видим какво можем да направим.
Тук от Пловдив всички сдружения на браснари, на шивачи, на адвокати, всички пишат петиции.
Други писатели са се застъпили и на другия ден дойде телеграма, че ги освобождават временно тези хора и се отлага изпращането за по-далечно време.
Една крачка ни делеше от изпращането в лагерите на смъртта. Ако прочетете този отчет, изпратен от полицейските аташе към германското посолство до външно министерство, ще видите, че се е стигнало даже до Пазарлък колко на глава за изселен евреин да плати българското правителство. Искали са по 250 марки на глава за разноски, транспортни и така нататък. Голям късмет сме имали.
Трябваше да минат много години, за мен говоря, родителите бяха наясно, но за мен да разбера цялата история по нашето спасяване.
Само благодарение на голямата толерантност на българския народ. Като се започне от занаятчийството и се стигне до интелигенцията и духовенството, подчертавам. Също така голям дял има и Димитър Пешев, който е бил заместник-председател на 25-то Народно събрание.
Самия Пешев е инициатор за разработва, предлага, гласува Закона за защита на нациите. Той е един от авторите. Обаче, осъзнавайки в близката година, осъзнавайки какво е направил, той вече заема точно противоположна позиция. Започва борба за нашето спасяване. И то борба, когато около себе си има една вихрушка, която достатъчно ни ненавиждаше и достатъчно желаеше да бъдем ликвидирани. И може би това го прави още по-силен. Защото лесно е да се бърка, трудно е да признаеш вината си и да се опиташ да я оправиш.
След като се прави тази акция, решено беше от Комисарството по европейски въпроси и правителството съответно, софийските евреи и евреите от големите града бъдат изселени по провинцията. И започнаха да се получават вече съобщения за това. Това е денът е 24 май, денът, в който България празнува със съответни манифестации на ученици. Царя излиза там на показ, пред който децата ще месират. И в този момент еврейството се събира пред синагогата.
И тръгваме, вече тръгваме. Добре, тръгваме. Стигаме некъде до Стамбулийски, ама вече за към центъра. И като тръгват полицаи с коне, конна полиция, бият, дещо сварят. Бой, бой. И аз като почвам да бягам оттам и се спирам чак на Одри.
След това групи от полицаи тръгват по къщите. И дали набелязани хора, дали случайни, вероятно и двете неща е имало, и набелязани и случайни, са били привиквани.
Арестуваха сумата и народ. Набиха ги хубаво в полицията.
Това е първата демонстрация на организиран от евреи в условията на фашистска власт. Не само в България, и дори в европейския мащаб.
Добре, но това не им попречи да не изселят. След няколко дена след той почнахме да получаваме писмата в срок от 3 дни с 30 кг багаж на гарата. Извадихме навънка пернишки, печки, не знам, да бе покъснена. Добре, но кой да ги купи? Когато пред всяка къща има пазар, слаб бит пазар. Каквото продадохме. И след 2 дена всеки си вземал бокчата и наизселих.
Русе имаше голямо еврейско училище. В това еврейско училище бяха събрани над 3000 евреи, които бяха дошли от София.
И селиха ни в Шумен. Първата работа в Шумен беше да си намериме квартира. Трябваше да спим в училището, в салона. Налягали там, всеки с багажа си налягал. Беше грозна картина. А глада намореше ужасно. Лятно време намирахме какво да работим. Зимата какво да работим. И със сестра ми в една перална. Перяха на войните чебельот, дозини. И ние простираме. Имаше перална, перачки. Ние задачата е да простираме. Как се простира зимно време, дозини бельо, скоченяцват ти ръцете.
В край на краищата ние останахме живи. Разбира се, трябва да бъдем признателни на тези, които ни спасиха. Но най-много трябва да бъдем признателни на тези, които ни помагаха да оцеляваме. И аз се разделям спасението от оцеляване. Дълги години ние оцелявахме. Ние нямахме купони, нямахме дрехи, нямахме храна. На нас ни даваха друг цвет лични карти, розови. Ние бяхме отречени от закона. И те ни помагаха да оцеляваме. Това е период. Не е моментно. И спасението е накрая. Оживяхме, ето ни.
И когато на Пасхата разказваме историята как евреите бяха спасени от Египет, ние казваме на нашите деца. Спасението на българските евреи за нас е второ спасение, както бяха спасени нашите прадеди от Египет.
To be honest, I've seen this movie more than 3 times in the last 1 month, and every time it touches me in a different way. Somehow, while watching it, I am feeling proud that the Bulgarian history is different, and we have all those stories, and then this is also my family story. I know we all probably are feeling very moved at this moment, and we have a lot of things to share. At this moment, I would like to invite Mr. Justin Friedman, Deputy Head of Mission of the American Embassy, to share what he prepared for us. Mr. Friedman, do you hear me?
Yes, I do.
Hi.
Good
Hello.
evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Excellencies, friends, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor for me to participate in this event and to read for you a poem that I first read many, many years ago, actually when I was in high school, as a testament to a man who persevered and did amazing things, but was deeply, deeply transformed by his experience being a Holocaust survivor. The poem is called Never Shall I Forget by Elie Wiesel. Never shall I forget that night, the first night in camp that turned my life into one long night 7 times sealed. Never shall I forget the smoke. Never shall I forget the small faces of the children whose bodies I saw transformed into smoke under a silent sky. Never shall I forget those flames that consumed my faith forever. Never shall I forget the nocturnal silence that deprived me for all eternity of the desire to live. Never shall I forget those moments that murdered my God and my soul and turned my dreams to ashes. Never shall I forget those things, even were I condemned to live as long as God himself. Never. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It is a beautiful poem, and his words are truly, truly beautiful. Every time I read about the Holocaust, I always try to focus on the bright side and to look for the good stories that make my heart feel a bit warmer. That's why I would like to invite now Maxim Delchev, a very dear friend of mine, who's the educational director of the Jewish community in Bulgaria, to share his grandparents' story with us.
Thank you, Polly. It's one of the things that I think it's great about Yom HaShoah is that really helped me to go back and reread and re-listen to my grandparents' story. Because my grandparents never really sat with me to tell me that story, to explain me what happened. Thankfully, the Holocaust Archive by Steven Spielberg did some video research on most of the survivors in Bulgaria, and they had their video testimonials shot by this foundation. So every year I'm trying to go back and really listen and rewatch that story. And for my grandparents, it's a tragic story because it's the Holocaust, but it's also a story about how they met each other. And my grandfather was born in Burgas. My grandmother was born in Varna. They were part of the Shomer Hatzir movement. My grandfather was really strong in that movement. He was one of the leaders of his city. And before the Holocaust, he had a very tragic story. His father committed suicide because he was not able to maintain their shop. So he needed to work together with his mother and his sisters in that shop. And in the free time to prepare himself for Aliyah and to go to Palestine with the Shomer Hatzir. So on one of their meetings, one of the things they were doing together with the Varna branch, he met one of the leaders of the Shomer Hatzir in Varna. Her name was Dora. My grandfather's name was Moise. So Moise and Dora he's not speaking a lot in that video, but we understood that they had something together. They were maybe in love, but then the war came and everything got mixed, and both of those families were sent to Razgrad, and my grandfather was sent to a labor camp where he didn't like it. He didn't like what happened in that camp, so he beat the guard and stole his weapon and escaped from the labor camp and went back to. It was a few months before liberation, before the September 1944. But my grandfather went, and he was not able to come to his house, but he went to the house of Dora, his longtime admirer when they were in the Shumeret Sir. But Dora was already grown up and she didn't like it so much, so her younger sister Sophie was taking care of him and bring him food, bring him something to read, discuss with him. And then a few months after that, the Soviet army came and the Holocaust for Bulgaria was over. And soon they were preparing themselves for leaving to Israel. And my grandfather was very Zionistic. He was preparing all his life. He was seeing living in Bulgaria as just a period of his life before going to Israel. But he realized he met the love of his life and decided to, because of her, to stay. His two sisters left for Israel, but he stayed in Bulgaria. And from the moment they were together reading and discussing in that basement of their house in Razgrad, they stayed together until their very last day 12 years ago. So I really think that the Holocaust is a very personal story for all of us, and it's a story that we can all relate, and it's a tragic story for many families. For my family, it's also a story about love and making something out of it. And I won't be here sharing that story with you if my grandparents were not meeting together in that basement in Razgrad and starting a family. And I hope that story will continue and we're gonna share it also with the next generations. Thank you.
Thank you very much for that. And without too many words more, wherever there's love, there's also music. And I'm really glad now to introduce to you, some of you have heard her beautiful voice, Leah, who is only 12, but she has such an amazing voice and she has something to share with us. Thank you so much, Leah.
Good evening. דמעות של מלאכים, דמעות שקטות, דמעות יפות ועצובות, זולגות באופן, דמעות ומחפשות, מה הן מבקשות? כי כשהמלאכים בוכים בעולם אחר, אז בעולם הזה עצוב לנו יותר. כי כשהמלאכים בוכים בעולם אחר, אז בעולם הזה עצוב לנו יותר, עצוב לנו יותר. דמעות של מלאכים, מדוע הם בוכים המלאכים? אולי בגלל שזה לא קל להיות מלאך בעולם עצוב כל כך. כי כשהמלאכים בוכים בעולם אחר, אז בעולם הזה עצוב לנו יותר. כי כשהמלאכים בוכים בעולם אחר, אז בעולם הזה עצוב לנו יותר. וגם אנחנו כאן רוצים לבכות איתם, מה לעשות? רוצים לבכות והדמעות אינן יורדות, הדמעות אינן זורגות. כי כשהמלאכים בוכים כי כשהמלאכים בוכים בעולם ההר, אז בעולם הזה עצוב לנו יותר, עצוב לנו יותר.
Thank you so much, Leah, for doing this for us. It really makes enriches the experience. We've heard stories about our grandparents. We've seen stories on videos. We heard poems and music. But I want also to hear another side of the story of the kids of the survivors. And I would like to invite Emma Mezan, who has something to share with us.
Hi. Thank you everybody for being together on this day. I would like to share with you a story. This is a story that I listen to every Yom HaShoah. And this story is the story of the singing train, packed with Jews from Poland on their way to Treblinka. Suddenly, someone started to sing. Who was this crazy man singing on his way to death? It was the cantor of one of Warsaw's synagogues, Azriel Fastak. Slowly, the song passed from car to car, and at the end, the whole crowded train was singing, Ani Ma'amin, I believe. The cantor tore off a piece of his shirt and wrote the notes of the song on it. Knowing where this train was traveling to, Azriel's last wish was someone to give this piece of cloth to his rabbi in the United States. This was Rabbi Shaul Elazar, who had managed to flee Poland before the establishing of the ghetto. The person telling us this story was someone who luckily survived the death camps. He himself was one of the singing train and saw a young man taking this piece of cloth and jumping from the train. Miraculously, he fulfilled the cantor's wish. He reached New York and gave Rabbi Elazar the song. Ani Ma'amin was born from the ashes of millions of Jews. This is a song that sustains our faith and our togetherness. And in times of crisis, we have to preserve it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Emma, for this story. I would like to move on with our short script. I would like to invite His Excellency Mr. Christoph Eichhorn, Ambassador of the Federative Republic of Germany, to say a few words.
Polly, thank you very much, and good evening to everybody watching us on YouTube. Dear friends from Shalom, dear Ambassador Yoram, I'm really humbled and personally honored that the Ambassador of Israel would invite me tonight. Thank you so very, very much. Good to see you all in good health. As probably many of you over the past weekend, I watched Germany commemorate the liberation of Bergen-Belsen and Sachsenhausen and Ravensbrück concentration camps. We commemorated this in the middle of the Corona crisis, despite the Corona crisis. Why? Because for us, it is absolutely essential that the horrors of the past never be forgotten. We must listen to the survivors. We must make sure that the next generation learns the lessons. We must remember. We notice with great sadness the tendencies to put the Shoah in relative terms or even to deny it, particularly in right-wing circles and on their social media platforms. This is absolutely unacceptable. In the fight against anti-Semitism and against hate speech, we all must stand together because it affects all of us as societies and as individuals. It endangers our personal liberties. It threatens our freedom. Anti-Semitism and hate speech are not a minority problem. They hit us all. So in this fight, you will always find Germany as a close and determined partner. Currently, as chair of the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance, we Germans carry a special responsibility. When German President Frank-Walter Steinmeier spoke in Yad Vashem in January, he made that very, very clear. And indeed, as much as we are grateful that Jews from many corners of the world consider modern Germany a country they want to immigrate to, where they want to rebuild synagogues and raise their children, yes, there is also anti-Semitism. There are Jewish kids being bullied in schools. There are people being insulted because they are wearing a kippah. Who has the responsibility to act against these threats? Everybody has. Politicians, business leaders, religious leaders, platform operators, journalists, sports clubs, leaders of their fans, citizens. We all have responsibility to act, to set concrete examples individually and collectively. So I'm really glad to see so many people gathered here tonight who are determined to do just that and to bring others along. I assure you, you will always find Germany on your side. Thank you very much for allowing me to join this evening, and please all stay healthy.
Thank you very much, and thanks for that position. I would like, if Rabbi Solomon hears me, if you would like to address everyone here and online.
Yeah. Shalom, thank you.
Shalom.
Your Excellencies, ambassadors, and fellow Jews. I'm a grandson of Holocaust survivors and a great-grandson of those who killed in the terrible Holocaust. I remember my dear great-parents, Yitzhak and Malka, that there was not even one day they did not speak, did not mention, and did not cry about the terrible Holocaust and all of their large family who was killed. The number tattooed on my grandmother's arm was a living testimony for us. That and all the terrible stories she told us of how they were abused, she and the other prisoners in the camp on a daily basis by the Nazis. We grew up on these stories and felt their pain every day. My grandparents have always said that the large family that they have is their revenue. And this is our proud. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. He who makes peace in his heavens, may he make a peace for us and all of Israel, and say amen.
Amen. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now we're shortly moving to the end of the ceremony. I wanted to ask if some of you wants to share a story or a thought. We would like to open this and to be together in our virtual living room and share if you would like something. while you're still thinking of your stories, I wanted to tell you about another initiative of Shalom that is happening tonight at 8 o'clock. I think even if we go a little bit later than 8, I invite you to all take part of it. We invite you to take 6 candles and light them by the window, commemorating those 6 million lives that were lost in the Shoah. So, and take a picture and send it to us, because on Hanukkah we light candles next to the window. Now we are all closed on the inside. Inside, let's share the light with the rest of the world. And if there are no more stories to be shared,
I would like to say a few things, if I may. We still have time.
Please do.
First of all, thank you very much, Polly, for putting on really a very powerful program. I think that leaves no eye waterless. Kudos to Leah for the wonderful singing, which really comes from the heart, goes straight to the heart. I'd like to express gratitude for the very powerful, inspiring words of the German ambassador. Really inspiring. I'm really grateful for what you've said. The testimonies that we saw, both in the video and following that, the relatives, are really a testimony to the suffering of the Jews during the Second World War here in Bulgaria and elsewhere, but also there's a ray of hope when we see that righteous people of courage and determination stood up in these darkest hours of humanity and proved that they could make a difference, especially here in Bulgaria. For me, as an Israeli, I'd like to say now how much pride I have to be citizen of the state of Israel. I look out of the window, now it's dark, but I see blue and white flag, which is now half-mast. But I was privileged to have been born at a time when the state of Israel was already in existence. This was not the case for my two parents, both born in Berlin in the first quarter of the 20th century. My father, who fled to Palestine before the creation of the State of Israel, and my mother, who fled with her family to the UK, and where unfortunately they were mistreated as well by the British, as had to be said, as foreigners from an alien country. Both my grandfather and my uncle were sent to an internment camp in the Isle of Wight, and then off to Canada, near Montreal. And this is, for me, going full circle, to have, to know that for me and for my children, there's a state which will always make sure that it keeps us out of harm's way, and it will do the same for Jews all around the world, wherever they may be, if they are in danger and if they are in harm's way. So this is a very powerful evening for me as well, personally, and also as a representative of the State of Israel. And I would like to express my gratitude and thanks for all the participants tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And if someone else would like to share something, we still have like 2-3 minutes. And in case you don't, then I would like to really once more thank you all for being here. Thanks to everybody who shared a story or who sang for us or a poem. Thanks for everyone who was here to listen, because as important as it is to share, we also have to have listeners and people who express it on the inside. Thank you so much, Mr. Ambassador. Thank you so much for bringing us together. I want specifically to thank Vered Euron and Eva Mashiach, who helped us put this whole program together. And I really invite you to light some candles when we finish this call. And in the last few minutes, I'm just gonna play a beautiful song reminding us that no matter how hard our times, there's always someone who's there, who's watching things, and who's doing good deeds. So I'm leaving you with the song and wishing you a good evening and be healthy. Thanks for making this all possible.
Thank you very much, Polly. For information of everybody, you can see the state ceremony on the occasion of the Yon HaShoah, live broadcasted from the Facebook page of the embassy. And thank you, everybody.
Thanks, Eva.
We were experiencing some kind of technical difficulties, and we're gonna put the song in a second.
Thanks again, and wishing you a lovely evening. Stay home and stay healthy. Good night.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye. Have a nice evening.